Call to order the meeting of the directors of the Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation for Monday, September 18th, 2017. I'd like to note for the record that this meeting is being webcast. The directors have received the relevant written materials in advance of today's meeting and are free to ask questions at any time. Consistent with the policy of our parent corporation, we welcome public comment on the items on the following agenda. After each item is presented, any comments are received from the directors. We will allow members of the public to provide comments. All comments should be limited to 2 minutes and should only address the item that is under consideration. Before we begin with the substantive portion of the meeting, I would like to ask the directors whether anyone has any potential conflict of interest with respect to any of the items on today's agenda.
None here.
Hearing none, we will please note that. And our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the directors' meeting of June 12, 2017. I'll entertain a motion to approve them.
So moved.
Any comments or questions? Mr. County Executive.
Comment, I've brought it up before, but on page 10 of the minutes, it notes that it was asked previously for a report on the unused, unspent money that may be sitting in accounts with regards to infrastructure. It was noted on page 10. To my knowledge, the report still hasn't been provided. It has no necessarily bearing on the minutes, but this has been going on for quite a number of months, and I'd just like to know what is available in potentially unused, unspent funds and infrastructure accounts that could be then transferred for other purposes.
Okay. So noted.
And we will respond accordingly. Apologies.
Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Thank you. Connie?
Yes, I have a comment on page 7 regarding the RFP for the South Odd Block. Is there any chance that the board would be able to receive a copy of the RFP?
You should be able to see it.
That would be great.
Yes.
Okay. And right along those same lines on page 9, would at the bottom of the page, would HHL be able to include members of our board as part of their community outreach invitation when they're presenting to the neighborhood communities? It would be great for us to be involved early on, or at least see what's going on design-wise.
Okay. I think that's a good suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's it? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. The first item is the establishment of pre-qualified real estate development and planning related consultants list. Mr. D.
Sir, Chanel.
I'd like to welcome our new counsel, Chanel Madigan. Welcome.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
So due to the size, nature, complexity, and timing of Empire State Development's many economic development projects, ESD determined it was prudent to have available to it a list of qualified outside consultants in various areas of expertise. To that end, ESD staff conducted a broad solicitation of firms in the following areas: real estate planning and advisory services, financial and economic analysis, architecture and design, construction and engineering, phase 1 environmental assessment, environmental review, infrastructure advisory services, transportation planning, historic preservation and adaptive reuse, surveyors, and community engagement. ESD's Board of Directors adopted the list attached to the board materials at its August 2017 board meeting and has now recommended that ESD's subsidiary, Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation, adopt that same list. As a bit of background about this solicitation, ESD staff advertised the opportunity in the New York State Contract Reporter in May 2017 with proposals due in June. They also contacted firms who had previously applied to a similar pre-qualified list in 2013 and posted online advertisements in prominent newsletters such as those of the American Planning Association. ESD received responses from 107 firms with one untimely submission and assembled a committee of 3 ESD reviewers per practice area across ESD's regional offices. Submissions were evaluated based upon practice area experience, staff qualifications, diversity and commitment to MWBE participation, clear presentation of rates and costs, and overall organization and completeness of the submission. As a result, Empire State Development wound up with the list of firms on Attachment A to your materials, and it is recommended that ECHDC adopt the same list of consultants as pre-qualified firms in the indicated areas of expertise. After the appropriate review, ESD staff found each firm on the list to be a responsible vendor for purposes of State Finance Law Section 163, and it is recommended that ECHDC directors make a similar finding of responsibility. Just to clarify, the directors are not now being asked to authorize retention of any single firm on this list, but rather the requested approval would make available to ECHDC a panel of candidate firms that have already been vetted through a broad solicitation and have been determined to meet qualification standards, thus enabling Erie Canal Harbor to swiftly and efficiently move forward with utilizing outside consultants when the need so arises. Staff recommends that this list remain in effect for 4 years and has deemed this authorization a Type 2 action, requiring no further environmental review for seeker purposes. Based on the foregoing, staff therefore recommends and the directors are requested to approve the firms on Attachment A to these materials as pre-qualified firms in the areas of expertise indicated in such attachment.
Thank you. Any questions from any of the directors? Connie?
I have a question concerning the length of time, and I can only speak from architectural and landscape architectural firms. In the span of 4 years, many times the scope of work and expertise can change. So that's a pretty long time commitment. So I wondered if anybody else had a concern about that on the board? No?
You okay?
I'm okay, I just wanted to bring it up.
Okay, great. Mr. County Executive.
Not so much a concern, but a comment. Recognize many of the names on these lists. I'm glad to see that there are a number of local firms as well as, of course, other New York-based or national firms. I would just offer my own personal opinion that when the opportunity arises, we certainly, especially if we're doing a pre-qualified list, which then gives the entity an opportunity to choose from them beforehand, that we go with local as much as often as we can. We are, in the end, using the dollars associated with New York State and often the power authority for a lot of the work that we do here, and I'd much rather see the business stay locally than go national.
Totally agree.
So noted. Thank you. Any comments from the public? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Now we'll ask Chanel to present a request for authorization to enter into a license agreement for marine storage operations with Lake Erie Marina LLC. Chanel?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As the directors are aware, Erie Canal Harbor Development Corporation assumed ownership of 901 Furman Boulevard from the NFTA in September 2016. The transfer involving approximately 50 acres of property on Buffalo's outer harbor. The property that is the subject of this agenda item adjoins property previously acquired by Erie Canal from the NFTA. In the future, it is expected that ECHDC will look for and seek out opportunities on the property to further waterfront development. But in the short term, Erie Canal plans to allow the use of approximately 150,000 square feet of space on this property for marine storage operations. With respect to the solicitation, in August 2017, ECHDC solicited proposals through a request for bids that was sent to 7 entities seeking responses of qualified and responsible entities for the short-term license of marine storage space near the terminal complex on Buffalo's outer harbor for a 1-year term with mutual renewal options for 2 additional 1-year terms. 3 of the entities declined to provide a proposal and 3 did not respond. The sole responding entity was Lake Erie Marina LLC, which is doing business as Safe Harbor Marina LLC. Staff has found the entity to be responsible for purposes of state finance law. With respect to the terms of the agreement, the license will provide for storage space at Buffalo's Outer Harbor for a one-year term with mutual options to renew for 2 additional one-year terms, with ECHDC receiving an annual base rent of approximately $40,000 plus 35 cents per square foot of the property. Licensee will be responsible for trash, waste removal, and all other maintenance responsibilities on the property and will be expected to comply with Erie Canal Harbor's insurance requirements. Empire State Development's non-discrimination and contractor and supplier diversity policy will apply to the license, and staff deems this authorization a Type 2 action for secret purposes, warranting further environmental review. Based on the foregoing, staff recommends and the directors are requested to make a determination of responsibility with respect to the proposed licensee, Lake Erie Marina LLC, and to authorize ECHDC to enter into an agreement with the licensee on the terms contained in these materials and to take all related actions.
Any questions from any director?
Yeah.
Mike?
It's been a while. I went with Chris and toured the site, went through the building, but with maintenance responsibilities, that's including building maintenance. And so what's the state of the building? Do we have any concerns or?
Well, we have initiated a review of the building from architectural and engineering folks. We're waiting for that final report to come in and review it. We're really not certain what the condition is until we can see that report, which should be within the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Any comments any questions from the public? Hearing none, all in favor?
Motion.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'll entertain a motion to approve. Thank you. Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried? Thank you. Thank you, Chanel. Mr. D?
Thank you. We've had a great summer at Canal Side and the Outer Harbor. From a programming standpoint, we've had increased festivals and programming have brought great excitement to Canal Side and the Outer Harbor this summer. We're thrilled by Buffalo's response to the events at our waterfront and looking forward to even more excitement as we continue with the programming for the fall and the winter. Some of the summer highlights included 10 concerts, where 6 VIP sections were sold out in advance. The pavilion was rededicated as a family fun arcade, and we had great success with the free movie series on Tuesday night, so that was something that was really exciting. Upcoming events at Canal Side, September 23rd, Natalie's Walk, September 30th, the Pumpkin Fest, October 14th, Making Strides to Cure Breast Cancer. We'll be draining the historically lined canal soon and preparing it for ice. In terms of the winter season, we'll have our holiday tree lighting, date to be determined. We have multiple tournaments scheduled in terms of broomball, pond hockey, and ice skating. The World Junior Fan Festival with the Buffalo Sabres will be in December. The big excitement for that, teaming with the Sabres, and they'll have a lot of excitement. And some of that will be happening right at Canal Side and the Harbor Center, of course. Also, the dedication of the U.S. Little Rock will be a big event, date to be determined. So we're keeping the pulse on that, but that's a big event. And the Outer Harbor Flatman sculpture from Griffith Sculpture Park has found a new home and is great addition to the Outer Harbor. And the bike ferry is closed for the season, just as an FYI to everybody. Great success with that as always. From a designing and planning standpoint and construction, progress is being made on exploring more. I'm expecting any day we're going to see steel erection, and I think that'll make a big difference for the public and for our action as to what's going on. Everything so far in the construction site has been in the ground, and as we know, you can't see any of that. Once you start to see the steel go up, the building will take shape, and I think it'll give us a real sense of pride to know how much we've really accomplished. So I'm looking forward to that. Interpretive structures, that's what we're working on right now. They're in the concept phase in terms of the Doug's Dive facility, in terms of the historic pavilion. So we're looking forward to conceptually designing that. The RFP is on the street for the South Odd Block. That's due on October 5th, so we're looking forward to that. Carousel discussions are ongoing. Site utilities at the the Donovan South Block, that's ongoing as well. And on the Outer Harbor, there's excitement with the Buffalo Billion 1 and schematic design, and the Buffalo Billion 2 is in pre-concept phase. So we're working with several groups from the public to satisfy community needs, and we're just excited to get moving on the Outer Harbor. And Just very excited to see how that's transforming. So in closing, I say stay tuned for all upcoming events. Stay tuned to our Facebook page and canalsidebuffalo.com and outerharborbuffalo.com, and get ready for a great winter season. We're pretty excited. Thank
Great.
you.
Thank you. Questions, comments?
Just one thing, I know there was a concert that was held recently in Canal Side that had some language that was a little not family friendly, and we did get some comments, people calling my office, and I know that we don't make the decisions on that, and I'm all for freedom of music, but as we go forward, I think we need to, whoever makes the bookings, understand that there are certain times that certain concerts should not be held.
Totally agree. We've been in communication with the Bisons. They totally agree. So that aspect of the concerts will change.
No.
Thank you.
Hearing none, we are adjourned. Thank you so much.